Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, February 17th. We'll start the meeting by introducing you to your City Council.
Council members Kiley.
Here.
Rolfing.
Here.
Staggers. Here. Anderson.
Here.
Erickson. Here. Erpenbach. Here. Jameson.
Here.
Karski.
Well, thank you very much, Lori. Appreciate that. We are very, very blessed to have intern pastor Bob O'Connor from St. John's Lutheran Church here in Sioux Falls will lead us in our invocation tonight. What we'd ask you to do is to stand for that invocation, that blessing, and then remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Bob, welcome.
Thank you. As an inner-city parish, St. John is particularly grateful to all the city leaders for your collective diligence and shared wisdom exercised on our behalf. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we ask for your grace and blessings for these leaders as they work through the difficult, sometimes competing demands of the city. Bless them with discernment, energy, and compassion as they adjudicate complex issues on behalf of all the citizens of Sioux Falls. We also pray for the protection of all public servants, that they kept safe as they protect the city from all harm. Give us sufficient humility and generosity to care for the poor. When we stumble, let us be ready to ask each other for forgiveness as we try again to right a wrong. Create in us a spirit of gratitude as we remember all of your mercies so evident with the many blessings of this wonderful home. We pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Bob, thank you so much for that. Council will now move to our consent agenda. Any changes or motions?
Move to approve Anderson.
Second, Erickson.
Councilor Anderson Jr. would like to approve our consent agenda, seconded by Councilor Erickson. Councilor Staggers.
Yeah, I'd like to just pull a couple items from
Great.
the consent calendar. One of the items would be underwater, and it's the 2015 Water Reclamation Rate Planning Agreement, and that's $10,000. And then the other one would be the Highways and Streets. The vendor is Tatonka, and it's $176,906.
Councilor Staggers, thank you. Councilor Staggers would like to pull two items to discuss later on, and we'll certainly do that. If there are no other items, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach. Yes. Jameson.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Thank you. Now move to our regular agenda for tonight. Council, any changes to that?
Move to approve Erpenbach.
Second Anderson.
Councilor Bach has made a motion to approve our regular agenda, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kiley.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson. Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Welcome. Nice to have you all here tonight. It's a great opportunity for you to engage the council on any topic that you'd want. All we'd ask is that you just introduce yourself to the people of the town, and if you can keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, the council would appreciate that. Welcome.
Scott Ersman, Sioux Falls. First, I'd like to start out. I'm going to have a lot of things to go through, so I'm going to go here pretty quick, because I only have 5 minutes. I feel like I'm at the car wash. You can throw the quarters in. Anyway, we always have an invocation that was kind of started by Benjamin Franklin because he wanted everyone to have peace amongst each other before they started a meeting. And there's been a lot of non-peace going on lately. And I'm not going to say that other people are ganging up on other people, but you guys are all peers. You're all elected officials. You're all equals. There's no one that's above you or below you. So I'll start treating each other nicely because I'm not the only one that's taking notice. I have a lot of people saying stuff to me that it's not nice. So let's try to work on that. Another thing I'd like to talk about is mental illness and the awareness of mental illness. And I'm hoping with the city doing all their programs with Live Well and things with their different employees, that if there's anybody who's working for the city who's suffering from a mental illness, like a manager, a department manager, or an employee, that the city is doing everything they can to help that person and not kind of throwing them by the wayside by terminating them or charging them with criminal things. And I hope that they're always helping anybody that has a mental illness, because it's very treatable if it's diagnosed. It's just like it's like diabetes, you know. It's very treatable. So I'm hoping that if any city employee or public official has something like that, that they are treated. I want to give a correction over here to Mr. Rolfing about the Drake Springs pool. He kind of cracked a little joke last week about the mistake of Nelson Park and Drake Springs. Number one, this is years ago. Let's get over it. The voters approved the outdoor pool. Number two, Councilman Huntsinger, in their own report to you, the one that they told you to build an indoor pool at Spellerberg, they told you can't build an indoor pool at Drake Springs because of groundwater issues. So I don't know why we continue to bring this up over and over and over again. Here's the deal. There's an outdoor pool there. The voters approved it. It's built. Let's get over it. Let's thank Teresa Staley that she's probably saving us millions of dollars by not having an indoor pool there with maintenance fees. Please, it's done. It's years ago. Let's get over it. I'm so tired of hearing about how angry people are driving by there. If you're angry about an outdoor pool, I'm not even going to go any further with that. I'm just saying, let's get over it. As for the food truck thing, these are regulations that don't need to be covered. They're unneeded, really. Food trucks are pretty much operating between midnight and 3 in the morning. They're not competing with downtown restaurants. If they're creating noise, there's noise ordinances in place. I have not heard of any food truck getting charged with any noise ordinance violations. Should they pick up their garbage? Sure. A sit-down restaurant downtown is not comparable to someone walking up to a food truck and getting a taco. I'm sorry. This is unneeded regulation. What I find ironic about all this is we're telling private part-time businesses, and you got to realize these guys are part-timers. They're not doing this as a living. It's a private part-time business, and we're pretty much telling them what to do. But the event center that we spent $115 million on, that we're paying a mortgage on, our building, we can't even get tickets to. And when a couple of counselors bring up the fact that maybe we could put a couple ordinances in place to make it better to get tickets, we're told we're micromanaging the event center. But we're worried about someone dropping a napkin on the ground downtown from a food truck. It's pretty ridiculous. Anyway, and not to mention, as a friend said to me tonight, you know, I came up here a couple months ago and talked about how restaurants don't recycle, but there's been nothing done about that. And finally, because I had a lot of stuff, this is my last one, TIFs should be open applications. In other words, anybody who applies for a TIF, we should be able to go to the city website and see who applied. Those should be all open. And you know what's funny about that is some developers I've talked to about this said they would love it. They would love it that they were out there and everyone could see who was applying for these TIFs, because it would be a great competition. That's all I have. Thank you.
Welcome. You bet.
Liz Meilenberg. I'm here regarding my questions at last week's council meeting and the response of the administration pertaining to the city's promise to obtain written guaranteed protection for the citizens' investment debt of $24 million in the form of a memorandum of understanding before proceeding with the indoor aquatic center placement on the land known as Spellerberg Park. First, however, for those who are unaware, the city does not have a clear title to the land known as Spellerberg Park. Highly respected Sioux Falls attorneys advise that great caution needs to be taken because of lack of clear title and the contingencies in the quitclaim deed. Mr. Fifley reported he'd had conversations with the VA and they agreed on the city's interpretation of the quitclaim deed. Might I ask then, if all the parties agreed, why were you unable to attain an MOU? Furthermore, I assure you that no one in this room is able to accurately predict future events. That is why the courts settle disputes using written agreements between parties involving land issues and are not reliant upon conversations, as Mr. Fifley is suggesting. Even laymen understand that concept. The lack of progress by this administration suggests the following. Number one, the city's agenda is far more important than protecting the citizens' tax money or looming debt of $24 million. Number two, this administration feels no responsibility or obligation to keep its word to the public regarding the attainment of an MOU before proceeding with the placement of an indoor aquatic center at Spellerbrook Park. Number three, this administration is certain they can keep a lid on the issue until they are out of office, and then someone else can deal with any problem that may arise. Instead of Harry Truman's "the buck stops here," this is called "pass the buck." Number four, this administration was unable to attain the MOU and does not want to admit it. Oh, and one additional overlooked detail. In the opinion of many, this city has been in violation of the contingencies for about 10 years. Flood detention ponds most definitely do not fit the description as stated in the contingencies, quote, continuously used only as and for park and recreational purposes, unquote. Although one of Spellerbrook's 2 detention ponds has since morphed into seasonal recreational usage. The point is, the VA already has the evidence they need for revocation, for future revocation of the quitclaim deed and the ability to reclaim the land if they so determine at a future date. And with that understanding, it is obviously not in the VA's best interest to sign an MOU. Simply put, their time of desperation to fill their need of additional land for expansion has not yet been reached, but most assuredly looms out there in the future. So, in conclusion, if the city determines to move forward without an MOU, it is obvious this administration is not concerned with the protection of the citizens' $24 million investment debt. And we, the public, know it and understand it for what it is, and we know who is responsible. Mayor Huther, in your own words, do you care enough to build it the right way and build only on land with clear title to protect the citizens' $24 million investment debt? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else who wanted to speak to the council tonight? Well, thank you for your comments. We certainly appreciate it. Council, let's now move on to Councilor Staggers had 2 items he wanted to discuss. The first one is the Cliff Avenue from 61st Street to 85th Street purchase of functional capacity unit credits in the amount of $176,996. Councilor Staggers?
Yes, I'm going to be voting against this. But in the process of talking to the city engineer, he mentioned that the number of 176,000 is wrong. And I think he mentioned that to Jim also. Should this be 105,000?
Good evening, Jim David, City Council staff. Let me just check my my note here that I sent, but it needs to be amended to $104,125. Thank you.
And I would go ahead and move that amendment.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Staggers, would you want to make a motion to approve it first and then amend it?
Well,
or do you want?
I don't want to.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Councilor Erpenbach has made a motion to approve it so we can get the dialogue going. Councilor Anderson Jr. was seconded. Now, Councilor Staggers, you'll want to amend it to $104,125.
That's fine.
And then Councilor Erickson will second that. Is there any discussion? Jim, you must have received a memo from somebody, and he's given us a thumbs up. Thank you, Jim.
From the city engineer, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Yep, it was from City Engineering. They requested that change. So.
Appreciate it, Jim. Thank you. So with that, yes, Councilor Anderson Jr.
Jim, was there any explanation why the big difference? I guess it just,
I have received no explanation. It was just an error that was noted and they asked to be corrected.
thank you.
Thank you.
If I could say why I'm going to vote against this. This is a requirement of the federal government, actually.
You don't want to vote, don't you want to vote for your amendment first and then
Yeah, I guess
vote
we better
against
do
it?
that first. Yeah, I'm going
How about doing
I'll
that?
vote for the amendment and then vote against it.
Very good.
Okay.
A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie,
Yes.
Ralphing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson. Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
The amendment is passed 7-0. Councilor Staggers.
Yeah, the reason I'm voting against this is because actually this is money being spent because of a requirement of the federal government dealing with wetlands. And I'm concerned about how the federal government has greatly imposed upon property rights and causing unnecessary expenditures. And I've talked to other people. They're not really in favor of spending this either, but it's because of the federal government. But I'm going to vote against it.
Councilor, thank you. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie,
Yes.
Ralphing.
Yes.
Staggers.
No.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
That has passed 6-1. Councilor Staggers had a second item, 2015 Water Reclamation Rate Planning Agreement for engineering services in the amount of $10,000. Councilor Staggers?
Yeah, this is dealing with water again. And this is a contract with the consultant from North Dakota. Over the past many years has actually given us a lot of information about the rates we should have. And, well, the last few votes that we've had on raising the rates of water, I think, have been excessive. And it's been proposed by this consultant, so I'm going to be voting against this.
Would anybody want to make a motion to at least get it going?
Move to approve.
Councilor Ermbach, thank you.
Second, Kylie.
Councilor Kiley, thank you. If there is no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie,
Yes.
Ralphing.
Yes.
Staggers.
No?
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
That has passed 6-1. Thank you. Now moving on to item 28.
21.
21.
21.
Okay. I was doing so well. 21. Thank you.
So, all right. 21 is a new 2015 package liquor license for Osted's Golf, Inc., Osted's Golf, to be operated at 2801 East 10th Street, CUP not required. 22 is a new 2014-15 retail malt beverage license for Kelly Midwest Ventures LP, Holiday Inn Express and Suites Southwest, to be operated at 3821 West Tavera Drive, CUP not required. 23 is a new 2015 retail wine license for Kelly Midwest Ventures LP, Holiday Inn Express and Suites Southwest, to be operated at 3821 West Tavera Drive, CUP not required. 24, a new 2014-15 retail malt beverage license for Kelly Midwest Ventures LP, La Quinta Inn and Suites, to be operated at 4521 West 41st Street, CUP not required. 25, new 2015 retail wine license for Kelly Midwest Ventures LP, La Quinta Inn and Suites, to be operated at 4521 West 41st Street, CUP not required. 26, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for the Sioux Falls Area Community Foundation, to be operated at DocuTap, 101 South Phillips Avenue, Suite 300, for a fundraiser on February 27, 2015. And item 27, special one-day wine license for Sioux Empire Safety Village, to be operated at Vance Thompson Vision, 3101 West 57th Street, for a fundraiser on March 5, 2015.
Jamie?
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. Item 21 is a request for Osted's to be able to sell golf-themed alcohol products. Items 22 through 25 are all the same owner, two different hotels. They would like to be able to host manager receptions from 5 to 7 in the evenings, Monday through Friday. And items 26 and 27 are both special one-day licenses. And I'd be happy to answer any questions for you.
Thanks, Jamie. Council?
Move to approve, Erpenbach.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Erpenbach's made a motion to approve these items, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie,
Yes.
Ralphing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson. Erickson. Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 28.
28 is second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the naming of a facility space on public property.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, members of the public. My name is Russ Sorensen with the City Planning Office. Tonight we're looking at a second reading to adopt an ordinance approving the naming of the facility space on public property. Applicants are SMG, Rick Huffman, and Audrey Willard, Director of the Sertoma Butterfly House in the Marine Cove. They presented an application to name the northeast corner of the second level of the concourse of the Denny Sanford Premier Center to the Sky and Finn Family Zone. This area would be a child family friendly area within this portion of the event center, and the Premier staff, along with volunteers from the Sertoma Butterfly House, would staff the Sky and Finn Family Zone areas. This area would incorporate a couple painted wall murals and also provide science and education opportunities relating to oceanography and animal displays for young children. There would be no retail sales in this Sky and Finn Family Zone area. This is a 5-year sponsorship agreement between the city and the Sertoma Butterfly House in the Marine Cove area, and there's been no public comments received of objection, and the naming committee unanimously recommended approval of this naming application back in December.
Russ, thank you. Folks, this is a second reading. Did anybody want to speak on this particular topic?
The applicants are here this evening.
Okay. Very good. Councilor Staggers?
Yeah, Russ, is there any money involved in this?
Involved?
Yes. In other words, for getting this named, are they going to contribute any money, or is it going to be
This is a sponsorship agreement. Yes. It's a 5-year agreement, and $9,000 net per year is the sponsorship.
$1,000 per year. Oh, okay.
For 5 years.
Councilor Jameson.
Russ, do you know, do I see it on the image you have up? There's a kind of a little play area and a mural. Is that what we're expecting to see there?
Yes. Yes.
What would it take to include a fish aquarium? Because, well, I think it'd be pretty neat. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were recently approved for an appeal, chamber appeal to raise some funds, but I'd sure like to see a fish aquarium there. Is that impossible?
Not impossible.
Thank you.
How about a zip line?
Hey,
I'm sure they'll be looking for donations too, Councilman Jameson.
I thought he might want a zip line on this one.
Well, I would make a motion to approve.
Second Anderson.
Councilor Jameson's made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. If there's no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson? Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 29.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at the southwest corner of North Career Avenue and West Research Drive from the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District to the CN Conservation District, petition number 2094-2014, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
Jason Bieber with Planning and Building Services. The applicant of this project is Doug Brockhouse. The owner is Marilyn Bergeson. It is located at the southwest corner of North Career Avenue and West Research Drive. It is roughly 0.43 acres in size, and the purpose of this rezoning is to construct an on-site detention facility on the parcel.
Jason, thank you. Council, any questions? Or
Move for approval, Anderson.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Anderson Jr. would like to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 3rd for this item, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson? Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 30.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 901 North Main Avenue from the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District to the DTPUD Downtown Plan Unit Development District, petition number 2144-2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
The applicant and owner of this parcel is Jeffrey Hazard. The property is located at 901 North Main Avenue. It is roughly 0.73 acres. It's currently a vacant, undeveloped piece of property. The applicant is proposing to construct a retail and live-work building within the downtown area on this specific lot.
Council, would anybody want to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 3rd for this item?
So moved. Kiley.
Second, Jameson.
Councilor Kiley's made that motion, seconded by Councilor Jameson. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kiley,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 7-0. Item 31.
First reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 910 North Main Avenue from the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District to the DTPUD Downtown Plan Unit Development District, petition number 2145, 2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a similar application to the one that we just heard. It's directly across the street to the east. The owner and applicant is also Jeffrey Hazard. It is located at 1910 North Main Avenue. It's roughly 1.33 acres, and the big difference between the one we heard before is there is an existing building on this lot, and the applicant is proposing to rehab that existing building and convert it into commercial and live-work uses.
Great.
Council, would anybody want to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 3rd for this item?
So move Anderson.
Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made that motion, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kiley,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson. Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Item 32.
First reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 1224 and 1226 East Rice Street from the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban District to the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District, petition number 2163, 2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
The applicant for this project is Eric Wildson. The owner is Kadir Sadat. It is located at 1224 and 1226 East Rice Street, about 2 blocks east of Cliff on Rice. It is roughly 0.25 acres, and you can see by the aerial there's an existing house and garage on each of the 2 lots. The purpose of this particular application is to raise the house on the right lot and then keep the house on the left lot and rehab it into a commercial use, and then also construct a parking lot for that particular retail use. Level C buffer yard will be required on the north and west side since they're adjacent to existing single-family uses, and that does include a 20-foot setback, 4-foot berm, and 4 units of landscaping per 100 lineal feet, and they've kind of shown that on the concept plan here.
Councilor Anderson Jr.
Is this going to be an expansion of that, the parking lot for the car dealership there to the east of that?
They're not proposing to expand the car lot. They're proposing to have this as a separate retail use with its own parking lot and own building, not necessarily for a parking or for a car lot, any kind of retail use.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Bach.
Thank you. Jason, do we have any idea what the building they're going to preserve, what that is going to be? Or are they just saying retail right now?
They're particularly looking for retail. I think at the second reading, the applicant can maybe shed some more light on if they actually have a user or if they're just looking at getting it ready to kind of lease it out to somebody.
Yeah, just kind of off the cuff, rehabbing houses into retail isn't always successful. I'm just kind of questioning that. So, but
Councilor Kiley.
Jason, could you restate what is the setback of the proposed parking lot from the property line?
The proposed parking lot on the north and west side will have a 20-foot buffer yard, 20-foot setback. Within that buffer yard, then they will have to have a 4-foot berm and then the required number of landscape units. They've shown, it looks pretty good what they've shown in this concept plan. It meets the ordinance.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. Council, would anybody want to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, March 3rd for this item?
So moved.
Thank you. Counselor Bach has made that motion,
Second.
seconded by Counselor Kiley. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Anderson. Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 33.
Mayor, I need to excuse myself on this one.
Counselor Jameson, thank you.
Okay, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property east of South Cliff Avenue, north and south of East 77th Street from the AG Agriculture District to the RA3 Apartment Residential High Density S2 Institutional Campus Planned Unit Development, CN Conservation District, and C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District, petition number 2164, 2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
The applicant for this is also Eric Wildson, and the owner is the University of Sioux Falls. It is located east of South Cliff Avenue and south of East 77th Street. As you remember, this property was annexed in at the February 2nd City Council meeting, and now they're looking at going forward with the rezoning of the property. The size is roughly 47.3 acres. You can see it's currently undeveloped land. The purpose is to construct a commercial, residential, and institutional development. We do have a kind of a concept plan of what they're looking at doing, looking at keeping the commercial uses on the west with the entrance of the development along 77th and Cliff. On the north central portion is where they're proposing to do a kind of a continuing education center for adults. The south central portion, they're looking at constructing multifamily residential, and on the east, they're looking at constructing multifamily residential. Their intent, I believe, is to construct the south central multifamily residential as their first phase.
Jason, thank you. Counselor Staggers?
I'm going to remove myself.
Thank you. Counselor Staggers is going to recuse himself from this. Yes, Counselor Erickson.
Can you flip back a couple maps? Sorry, mine's delayed. I should be looking up here. Sorry. Okay, that's good.
Oh, this one?
Yep, that's fine. The portion in the upper left-hand corner there, what exactly is that? Is there an area there that's not included?
Yes, there's an existing parcel there. That's an existing house that has not been annexed into the city. If you're talking about the area that's kind of surrounded by that red box.
Yes.
Yep. I believe they are working with realtors to sell that property and to eventually annex it into the city, but it wasn't part of the USF application.
What is that zone currently? Do you know?
If it's in the county, it's most likely zoned ag, but there is a single family house on it, I believe.
Okay. Is it vacant or is there?
That I'm not sure if it's vacant or if somebody's living in it.
So I'm sorry if I may.
Oh,
sorry.
no.
The rezone, how does that affect that parcel? Since it's ag, does it not affect it? How does that work?
We have, as we utilize shaped places, we use the land use. So that C2, if they built commercial on that south side of that house that you're talking about, they would still have to buffer it as if it's a single family house, even though it's zoned ag. Now, if that house was ever demolished or whatever, then they wouldn't have that anymore, that requirement. But we've still required buffering, even if it's in the county, if it's a single family use. We've tried to protect those homeowners also. So.
Okay, thank you.
I believe the C2 phase is quite a ways down the line. I don't think they have anything going for that.
Okay, thank you.
Council, would anybody want to set a date of hearing, second reading for Tuesday, March 3rd for this item?
So move. Second, Rolfing.
Counselor Anderson Jr. has made that motion, seconded by Counselor Rolfing. Very good discussion. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie,
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
That has passed 5-0. Item 34.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 3405 South Cathy Avenue from the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District to the O Office District, petition number 2176, 2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
The applicant for this is Paul Reynolds. The owner is Josh Bauer. It's located at 3405 South Cathy, which you can see is just southeast of the West 41st Street and South Marion Road intersection. The parcel currently contains an existing dental clinic. The applicant is proposing to construct an addition onto that existing dental clinic with some additional parking. So they are rezoning out of the commercial and going to the office use, which is more indicative of what's actually going on the property.
Thanks, Jason.
Move to set the hearing for Tuesday, March 3rd.
Second, Anderson.
Counselor Erickson's made a motion to set a date of hearing and seconded by Counselor Anderson Jr. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson? Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Item 35.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property south of East 26th Street and west of South Schaefer Avenue from the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District to the O Office District, petition number 2180, 2015, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval.
The applicant and owner of this parcels is Steve Van Buskirk. It is located south of East 26th Street and east of Highway 11, just southeast of the existing bank on the corner. It is roughly 1.2 acres, and the purpose of this rezoning is to construct 2 offices. This large parcel will be split into 2, and they will construct an office on each of the parcels with the associated parking lot.
Move to set the date of hearing for the second reading, Tuesday, March 3rd.
Second, Erpenbach.
Counselors, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Roll call vote, please. Yes, Counselor Rolfing.
Jason, has there been any discussion around the neighbors, from the neighbors on this one?
No, we haven't heard anything from the neighbors on this.
Okay, thank you.
Jason, could you go back to the previous slide? Okay. Yeah.
It'll look similar to that. There's an existing office on the east there. That's what they're trying to mimic on the next 2 offices to the west of this. So.
Very good. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Kylie?
Yes.
Rolfing? Staggers?
Yes.
Anderson? Erickson?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
That has passed 7-0. Council, any additional items for tonight's meeting?
Move to adjourn.
It's been a motion to adjourn this meeting. It has been seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Sioux Falls, make it a great, great night.